everyone, it's Miss Leah, and we are back with L Jam Storytime. Today's book is called For Spacious Skies, Katharine Lee Bates and the Inspiration for America the Beautiful, written by Nancy Churnin. Here we go. When Katharine Lee Bates was very young, the Civil War raged. Some of her earliest memories were of men trudging home in tattered blue. Then, when Abraham Lincoln was shot, Katharine's mother wept. A hush suffocated the streets of her village. The country's heart was ripped in two. Katharine sat for hours gazing at the sea, but all that the waves stirred up was empty shells, which she scooped in her apron. What could a girl growing up in the small village of Falmouth, Massachusetts, do? No one expected much of girls in 1865. The boys she knew grew up to be fishermen or studied to become doctors or lawyers or businessmen. Girls learned to mend and cook. Katharine didn't think that was fair. At 9, she wrote in her diary, "Sewing is always expected of girls. Why not of boys?" Katharine was lucky. Her widowed mother took in sewing and washing and grew and sold vegetables to help Katharine go to school. Some people said girls couldn't learn as well as boys. Others said she should be thinking about marriage, not books. Katharine didn't agree. She marveled at the power of words to make people think and feel differently. When she heard of a new college that opened just for women, she studied hard to earn a place there so she could keep writing. At Wellesley, everyone ate the same food and lived in identical rooms. Katharine and her classmates were taught they could do anything men could do. But outside her school, the rich didn't mix with the poor who worked long hours for little pay. Women couldn't become doctors or lawyers or own businesses. They couldn't even vote. Katharine sat for hours gazing at Lake Waban on her college campus. What could a young woman do? She helped establish a settlement house for immigrants and college women in Boston. She spoke up for women's suffrage and world peace. She wrote a novel, Rose and Thorn, about people who labored in sweatshops and struggled to take care of their sick children. Her book inspired talk about how to help the poor. Katharine's words were making a difference, and she had so much more to say. Katharine became a professor, and she kept writing poems, books, essays. In 1893, Katharine took a job teaching a summer class in Colorado. She traveled by train from Boston, excited to see the country on the way. In New York, she marveled at the cascading waters of Niagara Falls. In Chicago, she admired the alabaster city of the future at the World's Fair. So much beauty, so much hope. And yet, from her work as a reformer, she knew people struggled across the country. Some groaned in dark mines, some picked crops in blistering sun, others choked for air in smoke-stained factories. As an economic depression spread dark wings across the country, people filled the streets, feeling scared and angry and alone. On July 4th, 1893, the country's birthday, Catherine sat on the train, gazing through the window. She saw the amber stalks of wheat swaying in the Kansas fields. The way they moved flooded her mind with memories of the ocean. Suddenly she wondered, could the people who sail powerful waves of water and the people who tend mighty waves of grain be more alike than we realize? Catherine's mind might have been dancing with that idea when she arrived in Colorado and visited Pikes Peak. She rode a horse drawn wagon up the mountain to 14,000 feet above sea level. The horse snorted and stopped. Catherine wanted to keep going. A mule took the wagon up, up, up the final 110 feet of crumbled pink granite road to the summit. Oh, beautiful! As Catherine gazed from that height, she saw America as one unbroken country with no walls between people. It had been a long journey up the mountain, but Catherine was uplifted by the wonder of America. Most glorious scenery I ever beheld, she wrote in she wrote in her notebook. The first lines of a poem rushed to her head. She wrote and rewrote in her hotel room, trying to get each word right. 2 years later, on July 4th, 1895, a national magazine published Catherine's poem. People turned to one another, proudly sharing the words that described America united as a family. The poem was so popular, it was published several more times, and each time Catherine revised it. By the fourth published version, she was satisfied with the poem that had come to be called America the Beautiful. In 1910, people started singing the poem to a melody by composer Samuel A. Ward. Now Catherine's words soared even higher. America the Beautiful was the most famous poem Catherine ever wrote, but she never accepted money for it. It was her gift to America. Americans rich and poor, men and women from sea to shining sea, flooded her with thank you letters. She wrote back to everyone, handwriting copies of what she jokingly called her the B poem. She served coffee and cake to visitors who came to the home she shared with Catherine Coleman, another professor at Wellesley. And she continued to speak up for the poor, for the rights of women, and for peace in the country and across the world. 9 years after America the Beautiful became popular as a song, Congress passed the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. In 1920, Catherine strode to the ballot box filled with joy. Catherine never did like needles and thread, but she had crafted a poem that sewed the dreams of a diverse nation together. America still had a long way to go toward mending the differences that pushed people apart. But on the day Catherine cast her ballot alongside and equal to men, America was one stitch closer to becoming the country she knew it could be. Beautiful. And here's the revised version. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. O beautiful for pilgrim feet, whose stern impassioned stress a thoroughfare for freedom beat across the wilderness. America, America, God mend thine every flaw. Confirm thy soul in self control, thy liberty in law. O beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. O beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. The end. And this book is called For Spacious Skies, Katharine Lee Bates and the Inspiration for America the Beautiful, written by Nancy Churnin. I hope you enjoyed this book as much as I did, and I will see you next time at LJAM Storytime. Bye!